Hi, I'm Mrs. Mason. Welcome to day 12 of growing alligators, and today we're going to take some measurements and compare the gators and see if one of them is shrinking faster than any of the others. So grab your science notebook and let's make some observations. This is our kindergarten alligator that was in the water without the lid, that was uncovered. It is still continuing to shrink. What I'm noticing is the top is very dry. The belly is still a little dark green. It's still a little damp to the touch. And as you can see, it's still back bending. And I'm noticing that the head of the alligator is shrinking a little bit faster, and the tail is also shrinking a little bit faster than the wide part of its body. So in your science notebook, just write those observations and tell me, why do you think the head and the tail are shrinking faster than the rest of the body? This is our first grade gator. You can tell that the gator is doing the little back bend where its head and tail are up off of the table. It is dry on the top, so it's lighter green, and on the belly where it's pretty thick, right here in the middle, it's a little bit darker green. It's still a little bit damp. And this one, the head and the tail are shrinking faster than the thicker part of the body. So write down in your science notebook why you think the head and the tail might be shrinking faster than the rest of the gator. And this is the second grade gator, the one that was in the water that was covered with the lid. And it is also doing the back bend off of the table. There is a little spot here on the side that's darker green that I just noticed. It's got a wet spot there, and it's darker green on this part of its belly where it's still a little bit wet. And you can tell that the head and the tail are shrinking a little bit faster than the rest of the body. These are two of our gators, and I want to compare them to see if one of them might be shrinking faster than the other. The one on the left is the kindergarten alligator that was in the water, and the first grade alligator on the right was in colored water. Now, both of these gators started out at about the same size. They were about 7 cubes long. This one was a little bit bigger, 7.5 cubes, but they both started off about that size. When they were the biggest that they were going to get, they both were almost 11 cubes long. This gator was 11.5 cubes, and this one was 10.5. So they got pretty big, but they were both, as far as gaining, they each gained about 4 cubes. Today, they are down to 9. This gator is 9.5 cubes long, and this gator is 9 cubes. But they've both lost 2 cubes. So really, the gator in the water and the gator in the colored water are still shrinking at about the same amount. They're both back down to about 9 cubes each. When we compare the two gators that were covered and uncovered, we really have to pay attention to how big the gators actually got in order to find out which one might be shrinking faster than the other. The gator that was covered, the gator on the left, it got as big as 21 centimeters. The gator on the right was as big as 22 centimeters. So in the science notebook, we have to do a little math to find out which one may have shrunk the most. Looking at how big the covered gator was at its largest, 21 centimeters, I subtracted today's measurement, which is 18 centimeters, and I found out that the covered gator has lost 3 centimeters. The uncovered gator was as big as 22 centimeters, and today it measured 18 centimeters. When I subtracted, I found out that the uncovered gator has lost 4 centimeters. So when we look at the shrinking data, we can see that the kindergarten gator that was in the uncovered container seems to be shrinking faster than the gator that had the lid. It's lost an entire centimeter more. But when we compare it to the gator in the water and the colored water, they're shrinking at about the same rate. So nobody wins the race at this point. We're about to take a weekend to let them dry out, come back on Monday, and see if they're any different.